Welcome to another deep dive, everyone. This time, it's all about the one and only Amelia Earhart.
A true aviation legend.
Absolutely. We've got two really interesting articles for this deep dive.
Yeah.
One that really focuses on the biography, like all the straight facts.
Right.
And then another that dives headfirst into all the conspiracy theories swirling around her disappearance.
Oh, there are a lot of those.
There really are a lot. I mean, I've heard some of them, you know.
Yeah.
But after reading this article, I was like, wow.
They're all crazy.
There are so many. So our goal today is to untangle those facts from the fiction, get a real sense of her remarkable life.
Right.
And then, you get to decide what you think really happened.
It's a mystery that still fascinates people all these years later, that's for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. Amelia's early life.
Okay.
She was a bit of a daredevil.
Oh, absolutely. Climbing trees,
Yeah.
riding horses, exploring caves, the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
All things that weren't considered very ladylike back then.
Oh, no, not
Even just wearing bloomers was like a statement.
Really?
Yeah, back then.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like she was destined to kind of push the boundaries.
Yeah.
Like from day one.
It really does seem that way. And you can see that independent spirit, throughout her whole life.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, becoming the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic.
Incredible.
Yeah, that's incredible. But then she kind of downplays it.
I know.
She says like, oh, the pilot did all the work and I was just like a sack of potatoes.
Oh, that quote. I love that quote.
I know.
But, it kind of makes you chuckle, but it also kind of makes you think,
Yeah.
about the reality of what she was dealing with,
Oh, for sure.
the skill it took to fly those early planes.
Yeah.
And then all the societal pressure she faced as
Oh.
a woman in such a male-dominated field.
Exactly.
It really puts her accomplishments in perspective.
It really does. And speaking of those accomplishments, she didn't stop there.
Oh, no, not at all.
Designing clothes for active women.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about anticipating a trend, right?
Yeah.
Like athleisure.
Right. Like almost a century ahead of her time.
Yeah, I know.
It's amazing.
She was way ahead of her time.
Yeah.
And we can't forget about her role in commercial aviation.
Oh, for sure.
She co-founded 2 airlines, didn't she?
She did. TWA and Northeast Airlines.
Wow.
They still kind of exist in some form today, absorbed into larger carriers.
Wow. So she really left a mark.
She really did.
It's amazing how much she accomplished in a relatively short time.
Yeah.
But sadly, it was during her attempt to circumnavigate the globe that she,
Yeah,
disappeared.
that's right. And that disappearance has become, like one of the most enduring mysteries
Yes.
of the 20th century.
Definitely. So let's talk about what we actually know for sure.
Right.
What do our sources tell us? It seems like the most likely scenario is that, she and her navigator, Fred Noonan, just ran out of fuel
Right.
and crashed somewhere in the Pacific.
And if you think about the technology back then,
Oh, yeah.
long-distance flights were incredibly risky.
Yeah.
Like even small navigational errors
I bet.
that have these disastrous consequences.
That's a good point. It really adds another layer to the story.
Yeah.
But of course, there are other theories out there.
Oh, there are. Quite a few, actually.
Yeah, our sources mention everything, from captured by the Japanese to being a secret agent.
Right.
And then there's the alien abduction theory.
Of course.
It really runs the gamut, doesn't it?
It really does. It seems like, whenever there's like a gap in our knowledge,
Yeah.
our imaginations kind of rush in to fill it.
Yeah. I guess that's part of what makes this story so compelling.
Right.
All those possibilities.
Exactly.
But some of those theories, like the alien abduction, they seem pretty far-fetched.
They do. But, it's interesting that this 2012 research paper actually found that 1 in 10 people
Really?
believe that she survived and lived under a new identity.
Wow. 1 in 10.
Yeah.
That's more than I would have guessed.
Yeah.
I wonder what draws people to those more outlandish explanations.
Well, research suggests that belief in conspiracy theories
Okay.
can sometimes stem from a desire for control,
Interesting.
like a distrust of authority figures,
Yeah.
or even like a subconscious need to feel like you figured something out
Okay.
that everyone else has missed.
Right. So it's not just about the facts themselves.
Mhm.
It's also about how, Our individual personalities and psychological needs
Right.
shape how we interpret those facts.
Exactly. It's a reminder that history isn't always black and white,
Sure.
There's a lot of gray area.
Yeah.
And our own, perceptions and biases can play a big role in how we understand the past.
Yeah. I never thought about it that way before.
Yeah.
It's like we're all detectives trying to solve the same case.
Right.
But we might come up with different conclusions.
Exactly.
Based on our own unique perspectives.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And in a way, that's kind of what makes history so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's this constant process of interpretation and reinterpretation.
So where does that leave us with the Amelia Earhart mystery?
Well,
will we ever know for sure what happened?
Yeah,
it really is a head-scratcher, isn't it?
It is, and I think that's kind of the beauty of it, that we may never have that, definitive proof.
Right.
But it just adds to the intrigue.
Oh, for sure. I totally agree. It's like the story's still unfolding in a way.
Yeah.
But even without having all the answers, there's so much we can take away from her life. And she was a true trailblazer.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. From a young girl, climbing trees in Kansas to becoming this international icon,
Right.
She was constantly challenging expectations, not just in aviation, but for women in general.
And, it wasn't just about the fame for her.
No.
She used that platform
to
advocate for women in aviation, to design those clothes that gave them more freedom.
Right.
Her impact goes way beyond just those daring flights.
Absolutely. It really does.
Yeah.
It's like, no matter what you believe about that final flight,
right.
What really shines through is this incredible spirit of adventure, this refusal to be limited by what other people thought was possible.
It makes you wonder, what would she think of aviation today?
I know.
Would she be impressed by how far we've come?
Yeah.
Or frustrated that there are still these barriers to break?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It really is, But I think the most important part of her legacy isn't about the planes or the records. It's that spark that she ignited in other people.
Yes.
That sense that you, too, can push your own boundaries, whatever they may be.
That's so well said. She really was a force of nature.
She was.
And, as we wrap up this deep dive, I can't help but think about that quote.
Which one?
The most effective way to do it is to do it.
Oh, yeah.
It really captures her spirit, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's a call to action, I think, for all of us, urging us to take that leap, to embrace the unknown and live a life full of purpose and adventure, just like she did.
What an inspiring thought to leave our listeners with.
It is.
Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey.
Of course.
Into the life and legacy of Amelia Earhart.
It was my pleasure.
We hope you enjoyed the deep dive.